Hello and welcome to the Phil and Matt Tuesday show. Hope you're all doing very well. How are you doing today, Matt? We all good?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. In fact, very well. Yeah, lovely day. Sun's out.
It is.
And,
Sun's out. It's been
spring has
dry
arrived, I
since
think.
Saturday. Yes, I must admit the grass is growing. Eventually, the grass seed's taken.
Yeah, that means mowing it again, though.
Funny enough, the other half was mowing on Sunday because we weren't sure about the weather. So Sunday afternoon, she did pop out with a mower and had a quick mow, quick little flop over the top before it starts to grow. So,
Yeah.
But yes, but never mind. The evenings are getting a little bit longer, as you say. I think it's just nice with the weather, feel a little bit brighter. You know, say a nice bit of sun, bit of warmth goes a long way.
Lightens the mood.
It definitely does, definitely does. Anyway, speaking of mood, lots of things going on at the moment, obviously in the world, which we'll talk about in a moment. Do you want me to start or do you want to start?
You can start.
I'll start first. Right, okay. So, with me, I've been busy with this little lump. So, as a lot of you know, this is the actual Y-wing. So this is a 3D print. And again, we've spoken about them before, and I have got over here the Bandai one that I did some time ago. So it's a little 70-second one. This thing, scale-wise, I'm thinking it's around about 35th scale. But again, I've just made it bigger on a percentage chart and gone for it like that. But yeah, so we are pretty much here. I'm literally just about to put it into primer. I'm waiting. I'm very much hoping that I've ordered from another seller who's a little bit slow, just being honest, to get out some bits to me. So I've ordered some triangle styrene rods because I'm going to replace these banana ones for some styrene rod and then obviously pop them down here for the engines. But it's a little bit slow getting out, shall we say. So what I'm probably going to do this afternoon is get this thing into primer, and then obviously we can get the base coat onto it. And obviously all the piping, I'm not going to use 3D printed piping. I'm going to be using this stuff, which is magnetic. So this is actually bendable. So the great thing with this is you can just come along and you can bend it and it will hold. So this will be good for some of the scales. I've got a couple of different thicknesses of this stuff. So this is by Plasticard and it's cord, it's metal cord, and it's not springy or anything. So when you bend it, and I'm going to bend it to do all the wiring and all the plumbing on this, because I think it'll just look a little bit nicer. So I've got various scales of this which I've had kicking around for ages, and I think it will work quite well for this particular one. So we can do that and get it into paint. As I said, I have resized the figure, and we have got down in here a pilot figure, which I'll sort out onto his seat because he needs adapting on the seat for him to fit in. But once he's in, he will be something in here like this. And we've got our nice canopy fitting on the top. And we've got a very nice looking Y-wing. So starting to come together. Engines are glued on now and they're down on there. The front end is still if I can get it off, still a loose fit. So again, I'll get that glued in shortly. And then this thing is coming along. So part 2 of this went up yesterday. So if you want to go off and see part 2, you can do that. It's up on the actual site right now for members. And here she is on the other side. So yeah, very, very nice. So yes, but I will say, and it has been mentioned to me before, and I thought I did mention it, but I will say it again. When you're working with resin, in any form, it doesn't matter if it's this, if it's a smallest little part, if it's a resin wheel or something else, safety first. Resin dust is horrible, it's lethal, it gets in your lungs, and it's a fibrous particles, and means they basically just like needles in your lungs, and it doesn't do well. Obviously it can develop into horrible things including cancer. So if you're using it, make sure you're using a respirator, or at worst literally a mask, and do it outside. You know, because you don't want to be breathing it in. Luckily, because it's 3D printed, and that's the nice thing with 3D printed over normal resin, normally you don't have to do much sanding with them because it's just plug and play. This one, on the other hand, it has been testing me a little bit, probably because I've rescaled it to my own needs and things like that. So I've had to do a little bit of sanding and a little bit of drilling to get in there. But as you say, if you look on that particular part, I've got paper towel down in here, which is wet. So I just soak it so the particles will land onto it, keeps them out of the way. But to be honest with you, most of it was done outside, and the rest of it you can probably just see down in here. There's a patch of it there. I sand it in front of the extractor, and then obviously all the dust gets pulled out and stuck into that, which is a good way of doing with it. But obviously safety first if you are dealing with it. But to be honest with you, as I was explaining in one of my posts up onto the Patreon users, it doesn't matter what it is. The hobby itself, we're full of solvents and toxins and dusts and resins and all these different things. They're all really nasty. So really, you know, at worst, get yourself a mask, something like this with a decent filter system, the brown filters. I won't go into the details of it because there's tons of them. But honestly, a good old mask, I know Matt's got one as well, you know, are really, really good. You'll see how good they are by the filters. I've changed mine recently, so I won't show you. But in other videos I've shown where I've taken the outer filter, this is just the paper one that goes on top of the cartridge, the crap that is in there, that would be in your lungs. You know, technically anything that's there stops it going in your lungs. So it is good to get yourself a good respirator. But honestly, think about your safety, everybody. Keep yourself nice and safe and healthy at the end of the day. So anyway, been working on with that one. Next up is, and I've got it here and I've got it over there. As soon as this goes into primer this afternoon, tomorrow, I'm going to start on the Apache. So I'm going to be working on that one. So I'm doing the AH64D. And down in here, I've got the Quinta set for the cockpit, purely because it's an absolute delight and it's beautiful. And we're going to be going through the motions of putting that one together as well. So I'm going to do it as a late D, more like the E version of it. But you know what I mean on that one. Anyway, Matt's got a D now. So, yes.
Apparently so. Yeah, apparently so.
So, over to you.
Over to me. So I've been back on my base, actually, as you can see.
Yes, ace of
So
base.
I have been texturizing and adding bricks and, you know, just generally making it look a bit more bombed out than it was as a base. So these are just plaster bricks that I've had for, I have no idea how long I've had them. I've got a bag full of them. Oh, they've come in useful at long last. And then obviously just bits of balsa wood that I've used just for showing, you know, whatever's just been blown through the door. I'm not going to add a door. I've had a bit of a window frame, kind of what's left of one. And then obviously I've got the two figures. So, excuse me. So there's going to be three figures on here, and I'll show you those in a minute. But I just started actually putting them together. Obviously they are headless at the minute because I'll paint them separate. But I've got one carrying the radio with his phone. It's a bit hard to see on that angle in it, but there you go. And they're crouching. So I'll have them two here.
Yeah.
When the heads are on, and then I'm going to have, let me just move that out of the way. So this is the set of figures, which will be up on a review tomorrow, so you'll be able to see a review on this.
Very
so
nice.
There you go. So I'm using that one there, the guy standing, and he's going to be stood in the doorway, I think, up on the step. I'll have him on there. So that should flow, I think. But actually, really nice set of figures, to be honest. No, for styrene, really well designed. You get decals as well, which you don't normally get with styrene figures. So no aftermarket decals. You get the, you know, which if you want to do 101st or the 82nd, whichever one you want to choose, you can. And so there you go. Look, there's your decals. You get your decals for your bike as well. There's the figure decals.
Yeah.
And then the little bike thing you get decals for as well. And then photo etch, like I've said before. So all your straps for your weapons and stuff. Really, really nice set. So there you
Very
go.
nice.
So, yeah, I've done a review of that. So my editor, producer, whatever, has just put it together, and it'll be up tomorrow. So Phil will have it for the site, and it'll be up on the PM channel. So if you want to go and check it out, you can. But yeah, I highly recommend it, actually, Gecko figures. I'm really impressed. And I'll tell you what, actually, while I'm on, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. I'm going to have to super zoom in. Let's see if I can get in shot. Oh, that's not too bad, actually. Well, that's the head.
Very nice.
Or one of them, and actually, yeah, for a styrene head.
Not bad there, yeah.
I know he's got no hair, but obviously with his helmet on, that don't really matter. But I think that's really nicely detailed.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's not bad, that. I'm looking forward to putting some paint on that and painting it. So that's one thing, and then I've sent Phil a photo of the other thing I'm working on.
Which, by the power of magic,
which by the power of Grayskull is going to bring up, if I could find that thing. So what we have here is the SES Jeep.
Very nice.
Which is obviously the Tamiya one that I reviewed and was up whenever last week before. The old one, and I got some 3D printed parts for it, which is obviously the grey bits, which are upgrading. So definitely makes a difference. Definitely makes it. And most of them files are free. So that's also a nice thing as well. If you've got a 3D printer, then it's a cheap kit and it's a cheap upgrade, actually. So yeah, probably worth looking into. But I couldn't bring it. It's a bit fragile with some of the dangly bits off it. You know, like where the machine guns are obviously going to be resting for now until they're on. Especially that one sticking up at the side. So I thought, well, I'll just take a photo and bring it, send it to Phil so he can show it. But yeah, really enjoying that. Again, I was on about actually struggling to get into kits.
Yes.
I'm not with that. And I'm really now obsessed with the SAS as well, actually, in North Africa. It's one of them where you kind of get into it, and then obviously I was listening to the Rogue Heroes book. I've seen the programme, the BBC programme, but I was actually listening to the audio book on Spotify, and that really then got me interested. So I say a review of that kit, and and then obviously building it. It's really, yeah, it's really interesting. So
Very nice. And we were saying before we came on air how 3D printing, your other option, of course, would be doing it in photo etch, and what a complete ball that would be. To sort of getting it into fit and bending it around and all the rest of it. So we were saying about another plus thing over 3D printing is
it's easier.
if you're not very good at photo etch, it's a lot easier.
I mean,
sometimes you do have to fettle with it to get it in, but that's the same with anything, even photo etch. So
yeah. I mean, there is some photo etch on that. The bumpers photo etch of thingy that, and then what holds the wheels on, and the dash. I'd say the photo, but the dashboard I've used the photo etch set. Which was quite an easy upgrade. So I've used the easier bits, shall we say. The pedals I've done as photo etch as well. I'll put some more photos up at some point, but the easier parts rather than some of the fiddly bits that I just think the photo etch there for photo etch sake.
Yes.
And I think at some point we will have a photo etch conversation, me and you, because it's one of them Marmite, isn't it? And obviously if you're in the UK,
yes,
the Marmite thing. If not, let me just get that out of my face. You either love it or hate it, don't you?
Yeah, no, definitely.
But I also think with photo etch, just staying on that, is obviously the more you use it, the more used to it you gain, like any medium.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. But some of it is, I think it's there for the sake of it. I don't think it adds any upgrades at all. It's just frustrating and annoying.
I know, and I've often said the thing is with photo etch, if it's flat for plating, for armor, things for scale effect, I totally get it, but I don't get it when it builds up to be an object like a box. We'll just have a styrene one or a whatever. Why are you building a box when you could have a styrene thing, and so those type of things I've never really got. But yeah, definitely sometimes as well for doing strengthening panels on aircraft. Photo etch is absolutely a total must for it. It works really, really well. And obviously for up armour on, tanks and stuff like that as well. Then totally get it. But sometimes I really think photo etch is one of those where you're like, why don't you just do it in styrene?
Well, I know that from an armour side of it, photo etch tool clamps are the worst. And now 3D printing's out. The DEET is just, you would never build one again unless you really, really want them to work. Which I can't see the point when you on the kit, because you're not going to be there taking tools off and on, are you? Let's be honest.
No.
But for that Jeep, say, because that Jeep is like, say, 50-year-old kit, I get it. I get why Edward did it at the time, because they've done a load for the classic Tamiya kits, and they need it because obviously now they're getting dated. But obviously the new tool stuff, I don't see the point, because the tooling, the technology, it's moved on so much. The quality's there anyway. It's not clunky and chunky as it used to be, where photo etch obviously brought it into more like, say, scale effects and everything. So, but for these older kits and stuff, why not? If you ain't got a 3D printer, then you can still get a photo etch set for it if you're that way inclined, and
And I will say one thing about 3D printers, because obviously I spoke about it on some of the shows last week, and it was a backlash, but people were saying about that's okay if you can afford a 3D printer. And like everything we're saying is that this stuff is getting cheaper all the time. 3D printers are getting really, really cheap now. Like the filament ones you can get for sub £100. It's not a problem. Yeah. But the thing is, Matt with that particular one there, when you look at the bits he's got all there for it, if you'd bought those aftermarket, you've only got to do a few projects and your 3D printer's paid for itself, So again, this is almost plug and play. Me and Matt use various sites on the internet, and there's hundreds out there now with lots of free files of stuff that is pretty darn good. Some things like this one, I bought it. It's a file, it's a license agreement to print it off, and you buy one file, you print it off, and away you go. And but this one, just on its own, I think is around about $30, so around about £27. But you could print off an entire squadron of these if you wanted to, because once you own the license, you can then print them off. As long as it's for your use and all the rest of it, you can do it. And it's a bit like if you were doing the wheels or jerry cans. And I know Matt in the past has bought jerry can file and or got free ones, and the tons you've printed off and used in all your things recently,
It is. It's mainly equipment.
It very quickly pays for itself.
Obviously I've printed figures off as well. But weapons, like say jerry cans, German tank jacks is one. Yeah. Just little update sets that they do, and people have obviously put the files up to print off. And I mean, tool clamps, like I've just mentioned, you can. Yeah. They're free now. Pretty much the tool clamps are free. files. So you can go on there, you can scale them to 1/16, 1/35, whatever you want, really. So, like we were saying the other day when we did the Thursday show, we make use of the technology. I know not everybody's going to want it, but if you can afford one, and you're that way inclined that you think you'll get some use out of it, I would say get one. I would get one. You don't need an expensive one either, do you really? You know?
No.
I mean, even
Again,
for what I do, over here you can't see it, but we've got the little Elegoo Mars 2. I don't even know if you can still get that, which is a tiny. But if you're printing stuff that I've been doing, like the jerry cans, everything for that SES Jeep will fit on that build plate easy. You know what I mean? A couple of files and you can print it, and they don't take long to do. So, I mean, that was less than an hour, I think, to print most of the bits and bobs on there. So, again, it's getting better, isn't it? And the files are there, people are doing it, and I think they're seeing it more now rather than, like we were saying before, it was a lot of wargaming stuff and things for that genre, which is fair enough because you can print armies off, like we've always said, and they're brilliant. But again, it's now crossing over to this side of it as well, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely. And I know I've got great feedback from you guys at home about working on this one, and you're quite excited. It's nice to see 3D printed one, and you'd like to see more stuff. And obviously I'm getting good feedback from it. I said before, if you like it, let me know and I'll do more of it. But what I will do, one of the questions I've been asked a lot over the weekend is people saying, can you explain about how I basically get the file and you upscale? So I think people get an idea of how easy it is to work with this thing. What I will do over the next week or two, I will do a proper video about where we get the files from, when you've got the file, what do you do with it, and obviously for things about slicing, understand. It sounds, when you explain it, way more complicated than it actually is. And I think that's the thing with 3D printing. A lot of people have been put off by is because you think, oh, it's quite complicated. It's a bit like doing the mystical art. What about misprints and that? I think you're going back just a couple of years when it was a little bit like that. Nowadays, honestly, if I can do it, well, especially if Matt can do it, he's like a guru on it now. He's forever printing stuff off. This from the person who can't work a phone. It's like it's not literally as bad as I think a lot of people. Because a lot of people contacted me obviously about this one and said about this and asking various questions. And honestly, I can tell you're making more of it than it actually is. Literally, you get the file, you download it. You've got another thing called Chichi Box. You drop it into that. Scaling and changing and orientation are just literally it's click and play. It's very much it. You save the file, you stick it into your machine, you tell it to print, away it goes. But I will do a video on it because I know I've explained it when I first got mine. I did the videos about my first time using a 3D printer. Then I did the follow-up that was like 1 month on using a 3D printer and my thoughts about it. But I'll show you another one which literally shows it on the screen of how easy it is to import a file, click and go, and all the rest of it. So, but my video capture software is actually on this system, and obviously the stuff I do with 3D stuff is upstairs on another computer. It's a bit more powerful than this one, so I need to get the software up onto the top computer. Then I will show you both. But it's definitely one of those ones where I think a lot of people make it, or it sounds far more complicated than it actually is. It is pretty straightforward. And again, like Matt was just saying, you don't have to spend a fortune on the printers either. Yes, there is some incredibly very, very nice, quicker than mine, bigger than mine, do it better than mine. But for what we do, I think you don't need much more, especially unless you're doing microscopic stuff. If you're just doing normal size centisecond scale 144 spaceships, especially this type of stuff, what we do on our machines, and we've both got Saturn 2s,
I think,
they're 8K ones.
I think, yeah.
Andy's got the 12. Andy's got the next one up to us. He's got the 12. I know. I'm the same.
You're looking at yours. What does yours say? Mine's in your...
I can't see it. It's behind my monitor. It's literally I've got a monitor. It's on the other side of it. But yeah, it's one of those ones. It's been around a long time now. They're getting cheaper all the time, and if you get on an Amazon sale, which they seem to have them every other week, you can get them quite cheap. There's come one, yeah. I think when's that?
Easter sales
Easter, yeah.
From Amazon,
so no doubt they're beyond that as well, and you'll be able to save yourself a chunk. So yeah, it's not too bad at all. So yeah, I think it's one of those ones. It definitely enhances the hobby. And if you just want to, I don't know, go a little bit outside the box, thinking like, obviously with us, we talk about, building out of the box. If you want to take it a little bit out, looking at aftermarket now, as soon as you start looking at aftermarket part, like Matt's done on the Jeep and things like that, and I've done with various builds recently, as soon as you do that, you'll be on a little slippery slope. Because all of a sudden, a big Pandora's box opens up of everything else that's out there. And then if you're like me, at the moment I'm oohing and ahhing over a Firefox, because I've always fancied building a Firefox, the old Clint Eastwood one.
Yeah.
There's a file out there for that. That would be cool.
I'm with you, because I want to do an alien dropship, and I found a brilliant file for it. Where obviously we were saying last Thursday, weren't we? Of like the old Halcyon kit, that very expensive and rubbish.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yes.
It's awful.
It's not nice. Yes.
And you could do the APC or whatever. And there's files out there, and there's some really, really nice ones as well. And you're thinking, well, it does open up that world of sci-fi in a little bit, where obviously it's kind of a bit niche, shall we say, to be polite, in injection molded thing. You obviously get your Star Wars and your Star Treks and stuff, and then there's been spatterings of bits and stuff. If you're into, what is it, Serenity? Is it the space? Whatever.
Yeah.
You could, you think Babylon 5, probably all these.
Oh, all of those.
All the ones you think, oh God, I'd like to do something like that, but nobody's ever going to produce a kit. But honestly, you go on to any of the like Cool 3D, what I use, you'll probably find a file on it. I did find something for John, which is he's into UFO, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I found some really nice files for not just the spaceships, but the vehicles as well that you can print.
Oh right, definitely.
Look at Andy with his blasters from Blade props.
Yeah.
But again, it's a nice break, I think, as well from just normal modelling. And I think we got some questions last week. Well, do we think everything will become 3D printed and whatever? Not yet. That's going to be a long
we're a long way off from doing that. Absolutely.
If it's enhancing what we're doing, I'm all for it, and it makes life easier. Like I say, not everything's a bit plug and play. It's a bit of a clean up, but I could cope with that.
I think also the big thing is that now, literally, if you look online, especially if you're on social media and things like that, the amount of traditional resin companies that have switched over 3D printed. So the great thing with that is no more giant plugs that you've got to cut off, and things like that, because literally you just pull off the little fret off of it and away you go. But I know there's a couple of companies out there at the moment that have switched 100% now over to 3D printed. They've moved completely away from resin, and I think you'll find that more and more, because from a production point of view, it's just the machine. You just print. There's no masters anymore that you're taking, molds from, and then molds deteriorating. And we always used to have that problem years ago where you're okay if you were the first, 50 pulls out of a mold, but after that you get bits and flash and the things happen. 3D printing, it could be exactly the same one every time you print it. So from a viability point of view of these 3D, from these resin companies now, I've moved over to 3D. They've got all of those files there, always ready to go, and they're simple to print. If you've got a bank of 3D printers, they can print a couple of hundred off in a couple of hours. Where we're obviously with resin, you've got your molds and you're making up so many at a time, let them cure, kick them out, and go again, kick them out. It's a messy process. 3D printing, although it's not the cleanest,
though, isn't it?
Is a lot faster.
Yeah,
and design as well.
Yeah, I was going to say the 3D printer side of it, the time bit of it is the actual print, but you haven't got to do anything. You just set it going and leave it. Obviously, you do get failures. It happens. That's just part of it. You kind of, the more you use it, the more you can get around it, though, and why it fails and why it doesn't. You know what I mean? And obviously, making sure your bed's level and all that. But we can do a show separately about 3D printing as well, can't we? At some point, if anybody's really interested in listening to it, of our learnings and goings on with it. But
definitely,
I'm a big fan anyway. So there you go. Cool.
As I say, we'll cover more about it, and as this moves along, now I'm basically out of the actual build part of this is done now. Now I'm into painting and weathering, which is obviously my fun time. So I'm looking forward to that. As I say, I'm going to get these rears onto it. We'll get the primer into this one, and we'll move through. But from now on, there's no difference from anything else you do. It's going to get a coat of primer, but because it's a little bit bigger, I'm going to take this outside and do it with an aerosol. So I've got my finest Trago Mills Hycon primer.
Oh, so, high, what's it called?
A high coat.
High coat stuff.
High coat. So I've got my high coat. It's all right. And my plastic primer.
You know what?
So,
talking of aerosoling, I'm in the same boat, because I'm going to mask these sides off, take it upstairs and blast it with an aerosol can, because there's no way I'm airbrushing all that, and get a coat of whatever colour I want on it as a base coat, and then I can start painting it. So I'm same as you. Especially now the weather's picking up as well.
Now the weather's picking up
Beautiful.
as well.
Take it outside.
I'll do the same. I'll just hang this on a coat hanger and outside, and that's it. It's fine.
Great.
So, but nice way to do those ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the big news that broke over the weekend is something obviously we've known about for a little while, but we couldn't actually mention it because we didn't know for 100%, although, say we had a bit of a going. But real colours.
Hey.
At last, we've got some information.
Yay.
So, anyway, we can now confirm, from the worst kept secret ever, that they're moving over to a dropper bottle style. All right. So basically, it's the tall one. So think of like the 3rd gen paint range, but it's got a different cap on it. So it's got a big solid cap, very much like the normal glass bottles. One of the biggest differences is obviously, you should probably see here, this is 17mm, not 10mm. All right, so you're actually going to get a little bit more paint in this, which is quite handy. It's always good. All right, so generally, as you can see, one of the big differences is there's only 180 colours. If this is going to be improved on, we don't know, because obviously the old one, there was how many colours in the old range, Matt?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Yes.
It did go up to 336, but I think there was a gap in between when one ended and one started. No, like the armour colours ended.
Yeah.
The aircraft colour started. I think there was a little bit of a gap, but without looking at the paint rack, I can't tell off the top of my head or the site. But they've dropped a lot of colours, I can tell you that much. A lot of the obscure colours, the weird and the wacky ones they did, the like 15 shades of RLM, whatever it was, I think have now gone.
Yeah.
And some of the higher numbers, the MiG colours have gone. I think like the MiG 29 colours have gone.
Yeah.
Some of the armour colours have gone, which was, again, some of the weird and wonderful stuff. A lot of the RAL colours have gone as well, the German colours, from what I've seen. I've had a brief look, but not a full look at what, compared to the rack that we've got, obviously, see. But they've brought some in as well, haven't they? Like these ones, the Pagnoli Red.
Yes.
I would say it, you know what I mean? Ducati Red, I'll call it that. That'll be easier, wouldn't it? Because they can't call it Ducati for obvious reasons. But
No.
Panigale in it, that was it. I'll get
Panigale,
right in a
that was
minute.
it.
Panigale Red.
But anyway, as it says down in here, it's a new format, increased capacity. So obviously now they're 17mm bottles away from the glass instead of the usual 10. It's got the new cap, as I said, it's a big cap on there. So like I think they're saying in here, you could do the old paint thing into it. So you can see the colours you want from the top, which is pretty much the same as they do with the other ones. And obviously this time it is a dropper type with a really small neck onto it. Now, a lot of people have said about tipping back. Don't forget, I've got a little trick. If you squeeze it when it's upright like this, let the air out, turn it upside down in your colour cup and suck it back up. That's what I do. And I've been doing that to Hataka forever. So I don't find it really much a problem. And I am that tight. So that's why I do it.
But don't forget that little nipple at the top pulls out.
It does, but it's a very small neck on that. It's a bit like
it's not,
Gen
it's not
ones.
a big neck. I mean, I think I've got a Gen 3 here, which is the size of the bottle. But yeah, they do pull out these if you really want to put it back in. But I mean, they've done it. Obviously, everything now runs to these bottles, the Gen 3 bottles. So for production-wise for them, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
With the machines and stuff running. So you're going to be looking at, like what Phil's showing there is that bottle with a different cap on it.
Yeah, it's going to be the bigger cap, so instead of this one, but it's going to be the same bottle. All right, so it's just literally one of those with a big black cap on it and all the rest of it. Yeah. Again, the big thing to this is, I think, from a point of view of on your shelf, you can get a lot more than you can the glass ones. From a point of view of shipping costs, because don't forget, shipping cost, it's all to do with weight. So hopefully it'll be cheaper to send 6 bottles of that than it is definitely, 6 bottles of these and 6 bottles of the glass one, and you're going to get a lot more paint in it. So, I don't know what the weight difference is between two. Yeah, it's definitely a lot heavier, and that's got 10mm in it. So from that point of view, I think it's a little bit cheaper. And I know the people that have also been saying on social media and that about, environmentally friendly and all the rest of it. The bottles, I can tell you now, because I get taxed on it because of my manufacturing with it as well. I think we're up to now, this year it comes in, I think it's a 25% tax on single-use plastics. So everybody, including the Flory Models bottles, are now 100% recycled plastic. So it gets you out of that loophole. And I'm damn sure these will be the same as well. I don't know about the caps, because the caps are a different story. But so environmentally, at least it is recycled plastic probably used. And then obviously it'll be that thing about, you can recycle them afterwards. So that would be pretty good. The great thing is, obviously, it's apparently, and I have been told straight from the horse's mouth, from the CEO himself, when I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, the formula is exactly the same. They're not thinning it. It's not going to become an airbrushable type and all the rest of it. It's just that a lot in their packaging, it now says about airbrush formula for it. Pretty much it's always been like that. But apparently I've been told, and it says here, same formula, top quality as always. So they're saying it down here on the printed media as well, that it's going to be exactly the same from that point of view. Again, standard colours, you've got 26 in the range now. The civil colours, you've got 24.
Which they didn't
military
have before.
colours, which they didn't do before. Yeah,
No, we had the standard colours. We had the standards. We didn't have a civil range, and then obviously the military range is now 130, where it was split between obviously AFV and aircraft. So
and that was the thing. We used to have a range of AFV and a range of air, wasn't it? That's how they've got them under one big banner now.
Yeah.
So yeah, right the way through. There you go. That's that ninja green.
Yeah. Ninja green.
So you get ninja green, all the rest of it. So again, it's got the usual things about the accuracy of the colours, all right, compatibilities and stuff like that. And again, air pressures and what an enamel is. But obviously these are your standard colours now. So you've got your usual sort of suspects down in here as well, your standard sort of clears and yellows and your reds and your things. So you've got your signal reds, the important ones, and you've got your blues and the things like that. So that's all fine down in there. Do they do smoke in here? They've got a gunmetal.
Yeah, there is a smoke. There should be a clear smoke down
top. Clear smoke there. As long as I've got, I like that colour.
Looking at that, I don't think they've dropped any of the
standards. Yeah.
Standard colours. I don't know. I'd have to double check, but by the looks of it, that's pretty much the same as what was originally.
Yeah.
And then obviously this one's new.
The civil one. So again, you've got carbon fibre grey, things like that. You've got British F1 black, whatever that is.
That's for Lotus, isn't it? It's for Lotus.
Is that JPS for the for the John Player special?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Lotus with the black. Yeah. But you've got British Racing Green down in here as well. We've got the Tyrrell Blue, Gulf Orange, obviously the Italian Red. Got your Fork Gold for doing your front forks on bikes. Look, Jaguar Orange. Is that papaya?
Probably, yeah. You've got your Gulf colours. Look, Gulf Orange and Gulf Blue.
Yeah, that's it. So you've got those.
You've even got Rim Gold, look.
Yeah, well, everyone needs a Rim Gold.
Absolutely. Tyrrell Blue.
Yeah, look, and you've got a halo graphic, got pearlescent effect as well down in there. There's your ninja green. So, but yeah, I think to be honest, for the car guys and sports fans, you're covered now.
So nice is that Rally Blue, Subaru Blue? I would say so.
I would say that's what they're getting at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say so.
Valiant Green. Look, Jägermeister Orange. They've actually covered
They've actually done the real colours. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, with a bit of renaming for obvious reasons of thing. What's the
Pangali Red is the one you got me, wasn't it? I got mine from a touch-up pop from the real thing.
Yeah, it probably was that. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was Rosso Corsa, but it's the same kind of thing. Yeah, it's near enough, isn't it? Which is the Italian red. I would have thought, which we call Ferrari red, but. Yeah, what's the F1 yellow for then? Is that the camel one?
Could be the camel one. Yeah, it could be camel yellow. Yeah, 70s to 80s. Yeah, that's got to be camel then, isn't it?
Would have thought so, yeah.
Because the only yellow one after that I can think about is the Salvas, wasn't it, back in the day? That would have been later. That would have been 90s.
Or Renault. Renault had yellows, didn't they?
Renault, yeah. So, but no, you got some nice colours down in there. So again, if you are thinking about that way, you're you're no longer having to go to certain other companies to find it. Military colours, like we're saying, really, you've got that sort of standard thing down in here. You've got your RALs and your RLMs, your federal standards, your British standards and things like that. And again, down in here, like we were saying, this covers the normal colours, I would say. They haven't gone left field like they did a bit before.
No.
They're all the colours when I first saw this over the weekend and I had a flick through. They're all the colours I can think of. Without going then into the sort of more weird ones. You have got the IDF colours in here still as well.
Yeah.
And stuff. But yeah, some of the other weird colours that they did do, they've dropped. As you can see.
There's the aircraft colours.
Yeah. So you've got your F-15 colours as well, which is quite nice. But you've got all your RLMs down here.
Yeah.
For everything else. And you've got all your British standard
But they've really pulled that in.
Yeah, they've
pulled
really
that in a lot.
in.
The aircraft colours, from what I can see there, from what's on the what we've got left and stuff. A lot of where's the Japanese colours? They've got a few, haven't they? There was a lot of Japanese colours. There's a few there.
There was a lot.
See
There's
them
a few there. Yeah.
Under the RLM colours and stuff, but yeah, they've obviously just pulled it all in and seen what they, over the years, what a good
Obviously,
seller
it's their best sellers, isn't it? The ones that are not. Yeah.
So if you want any of the obscure colours, we've got probably some left. So, I'd grab them because once they've gone, they have gone.
Yes, and that will be it. So
yeah.
Again, our plan of action, just so everyone sort of knows of this. Obviously, the paint range when it becomes available, we're thinking it's going to be end of April.
End of April,
Probably
May, innit?
going to be May in it. That's
May.
by the time it gets here.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we cannot get real colour. To the trade, they have ceased making and shipping and all the rest of it because obviously they're getting ready for this. We have got on order, obviously the rack and everything. We will get them in. So what we'll do until then, obviously, we've got the old ones, and then we'll run them side by side until we run out. That'll be it. So at some point there will be a change between the two. But for the moment, if you want any of the old ones, go and have a look at the site now. Grab them because
they're running out. To be honest,
you're going to be running out.
We are
got tons
running
of
low.
them.
Yeah, but there is some left. So yeah, but yeah, no, it's at least we've got some info now. We know what's happening with real colour. So
yes,
watch this space, eh?
Yes, definitely. What have we got in other news? Other news, we've got, obviously, a bit like buses, we've got another Puma, or a Puma.
Just announced today, earlier on. So
Yeah.
Mini Art are doing one. So Ryfield, I think we mentioned last week or the week before, we're doing a Puma. And like I say, now Mini Art are on it. Full interior one, this one. Looks very detailed. Full engine, everything. It's a typical Mini Art. Here you go, look.
Right the way through. Look at that.
Everything's in it. So if you like that sort of thing, look at that massive engine that produced about 20 horsepower.
Yeah.
Perhaps a bit more than that, but you know what I mean. It's I suppose it's a heavy thing to be in a armoured car, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's it.
Should have done a
That'd be
strip down
funny.
one like that.
Well, why didn't they just have aircraft engines in it as well? Because surely you get a bit more horsepower out of an aircraft engine.
Probably by then the aircraft engines were quite sought after, and
Well, yeah,
that's a bit
probably.
late war, isn't it? So
Oh,
I
is it?
presume that they were.
So, one question, because obviously I'm not an armour guy at all, clearly, as you know. But does this mean you have another driver? So you've got like rear wheel steer, and you have
I
two
think so.
steering
Yeah,
wheels?
yeah, you can go. Yeah.
Or is it connected?
Could you imagine reversing that?
Well, I saw this earlier. Well, I saw it on that picture there, and I was thinking, so that's the driver. I get it, or is it? Because technically, yeah,
That's the front.
this is the front.
That's the front, and that's obviously
Yeah.
the rear because the engine's at the back. But all four wheels steer on them.
Yeah, but
Well,
do they have to
actually, I
work
don't
together?
know.
These two.
Well, I
Does
don't
one
know,
person say turning left, and the other one's like they do
you
with the
have to
fire
say,
engines?
Yeah. Right turn, Clyde.
Or are they actually connected? I don't know this. I'm not up on these things, But yeah,
I'm sure the comments will light up and saying it's such and
Yeah.
such. But yeah, we're not without doing the research on these things. But the one thing is with that, now they've done the Puma, they will do the other versions because there's one with a pack on it and one with a anti-aircraft gun. And
yeah,
they did. I know Dragon back in the day tackled the range, and it's they're all still available. But you know what Mini Art are like, so you probably get the interior one, the non-interior one, and then obviously different configurations of the fighting compartments and weapons and whatever else. So that'll just be the norm for them. Interesting vehicle. I do actually like the Puma, if I'm honest. I think it's a cool-looking armoured car. So yeah,
definitely, very nice. But again, I'm just wondering, perhaps you have a driver because it can get into trouble and out of it just as quick.
yeah.
So you can drive in somewhere and go, oh shit, and then leg it. Yeah, he's the driver at the back's like, I've got this, and just literally, so he's not having to do it backwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, to be honest, I saw this, and I it's very rare I will look at a kit, especially Mini Art fully detailed ones. But actually, I do like that. I think that I could even have a go at that myself.
Yeah,
Not that I'm going to jump into it immediately, but I'll probably get that kit in and I'll do a review of that with a line to do it because I just quite like tracked vehicles like that.
Well, it's funny because I'm getting the Ryfield one in because obviously we got pre-order. We'll pre-order for that when we get a price, and I've ordered an extra one because I wanted to review the Ryfield one. So it'd be nice to do a bit of a they're not the same
comparison
kits, because
in.
I don't like doing comparisons anyway. I don't think you
No,
can
no,
do, because
no,
it's
I
not
don't.
really
Yeah,
fair on each manufacturer, and their approach is
yeah,
different. But it'd be nice to see how they've tackled it different in different areas. So, but
yeah,
side by side
definitely.
comparisons a bit pointless, to be honest. I don't get
Yeah,
that
no, I don't
as a
get them
review
either.
thing.
That's why I don't do them.
Yeah, I
But
mean, we did about the ambulances, didn't we? Or something.
yeah, yeah,
The
no, that's
Gecko
it.
ambulance and the Airfix one,
I
completely
always keep
different kits, completely
very
different,
different. Yeah, that's it.
completely different levels as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
That's why I keep well away from doing comparisons. I know lots of people have asked me, can I do comparisons on this, that, and the other? And sometimes, if it's a like for like kit, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, I will give it a whirl. So I've done it when we did the Apaches. I did it with the Meng as a standalone video on its own. They had both reviews, and then I did one of them together, just with which one I would go for, both on an E. So we were looking at the same helicopter. They were like for like.
Are we going to break the news then?
Oh, go on then.
That
We
we're
might as well
having a
mention
build
it.
off.
We're having a build off.
We're having a
So
build off.
I've sent Matt my Echo, which is
I have got
the
it, I ain't got it.
Tacom.
You want me to get it?
So you could go and
I
get
could
it.
do an unboxing. Hold on.
Do a live unboxing. Good job I didn't put anything inappropriate in it. But yes, hold on, I'll get mine as well. Hold on. Let me just get it here.
Let me just dig in this.
Yes, look.
Turn everybody everything. If you fill
So-
this full of them things, I'll tell you, you're in proper trouble.
No, it's not actually. I was good. I didn't do it.
Yeah, got
We
lost.
have a habit of sending each other stuff full of exploding poppings, and I didn't do it this time because I didn't have time. I needed to get it out.
Oh, there we go.
So there we go. So in
I've
there
got
as
it.
well, Matt's got the Quinter set. Careful how you do open it because there's other
Yeah,
stuff
all
in
right.
there.
I'll grab it.
But so obviously I reviewed both of these kits. I reviewed now and all the rest of it. And again, just out of pure, I'm going to go for this one. I think it's a slightly, as in detail, there's nothing in it. I think ease of build, this one's just a little bit easier. So I'm going to do this one. That's why Matt's got that. So Matt's going to do it as an E. This one will be a late D. You won't be able to tell the difference between the two and all the rest of it. But I'm going to put the mast on it as well. So Matt will probably do his with the mast as well on the top for the fire control radar. And so yes, so we're going to do a little bit of a build off between both of them. So that way on these shows we can show you how we're getting on with them.
Yeah, it's going to be a vloggy
our
thing.
find and thoughts and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
So yes.
I've got air cav, look. I've got the
Yes.
air cav.
You got the air cab one, so have I think, in this.
Ooh.
So yes,
That's what you got to do then. We've got to do both air cabs.
we do both air cav. And we can see the difference in our style of weathering.
Yes, we've definitely got, yeah, US Army 1st Air Cavalry Division. So if you've got that, that's what you're doing, because that's what I'm doing, because
Right, okay.
you don't,
So
you
yeah,
don't
I'm
like
pretty
the,
sure that one's in there.
you don't like the
So-
Air Cavalry. Hey,
Well, this is it, definitely.
let me just get it. Ooh, oh, I don't see that. That's not for that.
No, it's down the side, the
Hey,
Quinter bits.
where's the bag for it?
Well, it was in a hurry to get it out.
You know?
That's why you had good packaging. The Quinter bit's down the sides. No, it's down one side, the Quinter bits.
I'll
It's
find
the
it.
bit where I look at it and it's there, but it's
Yeah,
only
yeah,
a
I'll
little. It
find
is. It's tucked down the side. So, but yes, so that's the plan of action. We're going to be doing that one. I'm going to start this one this week, so we'll be on with that, which will be good.
Yeah,
Back to styrene after doing resin, something
Yes.
a little bit lighter.
yeah. Well, I'm same as you actually. After, well, obviously the little SES Jeep, but there's not many parts of that. Out of the 3 sprues in the kit, I've used 1 because everything else
Oh,
has
right,
been
okay.
pretty much replaced.
Yeah,
So, but there you
enough.
go.
that's all right.
Well, we've got to
In other news as well, we've got a new 48 scale Mark II-C Hurricane with the 3D printed parts included from Armour Hobby. Very, very nice indeed.
get a lot with that though, don't you? Look, I was just looking. 3D printer set with arrestor hub section, pilot seat and harnesses, 20mm cannon barrels, exhausts.
I know.
Yeah.
Got all the stuff on there. So a very, very nice one down in there. And on the other option as well, in 72nd, they've got out as well, which is obviously got the 3D bits as well. This is the Mark II A, B and C, Eastern front ones. So we've got a Hurricane on Lend-Lease over there as well in the Soviet markings. And then obviously we've got the normal one over here. But I like the camo. Nice with the old white wheels on there. So something a little bit different.
3 in 1, isn't it?
Yes. So down in here, you do get all versions. Makes you wonder if we'll see a version of that come down the line now for the 48 scale one.
Probably.
Because at the moment, they're still working through the singles of them all. So, but yeah, I think they're pretty much to the end of it now. So at some point, you might start seeing the 3 in 1 kits as well from them. So that'll be a nice one as well. So, but yes, so obviously nice to see Armour Hobby back at it, getting the Hurricanes out and all the rest of it.
Yes.
So, what's the next one up from them? What have they got coming up next? I can't remember what it was now.
What Armour? I don't know. They've not said it, have they?
Can't remember what it was now.
No, I can't either. I don't know if there is anything. We've heard anything from them, but I'm sure we will at some point.
Of course. The other thing as well I was going to mention, because it's quite cool, was the Gecko Tut Tut.
That is cool. That is cool. Yeah. Well, no, like vignettes and stuff.
That's it. You like your 3-wheel vehicles.
That's just brilliant. Again, we've got no price. We will put these the Gecko items up as a pre-order when we get a price on them. But I just think that's just brilliant, to be honest.
Yeah. I must admit, I saw it. Thought, that's so cool. Just something really different, and that's why I like Gecko. They tend to do really weird and wacky stuff, you know.
Yeah, between them and Mini Art, they do.
Yeah.
Some a bit left field, like we always say. Some a bit interesting, not the norm. I know, like the Puma is a bit,
yes,
commercial, but they've got to. But again, that 3-wheeler, I built that Tempo thing from Mini Art, similar type thing, and just something different, nice. I like that.
Definitely,
I do like that.
Definitely, yes. The other thing as well was, I'm going to zoom out a little bit as well. We've got the Queen, or the late Queen, I should say.
Princess. As was
yes.
then.
Princess Queen.
Princess Elizabeth.
Yes. But again, they've done a full resin. It makes you wonder, have they, sort of asked the Royal Palace to do it?
I don't know how that works,
Or is this just winging it and hopefully no one will notice?
Yeah, because you're not very recognisable.
Have they actually described her as the Queen of England at some point, or the Princess Elizabeth?
I don't know.
Or are they just saying she's a generic lady, just happens to look very much like her?
I don't ask. I don't know how that works at all. I don't know the copyright on royals or anything.
Yes, I'm sure the Crown are quite sort of hot on things like that.
Yeah,
so they probably said it's a generic lady, just happens to look like her. Very similar.
Yeah, passing resemblance.
Passing resemblance, yes, to the late Queen.
Yeah.
So, but yes.
So that's not the real princess in front of that Tilly. That's a doppelganger.
No, that's it. It's one of her many lookalikes.
Yeah.
Like, was it Saddam Hussein used to have a load, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah. That's quite a decent comparison, though, do you?
Yes. No, I don't think you can compare the two. I'm just on about they had decoys.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, something very, very nice with that one. If you want to go down that particular route.
Where's the other one of the Gecko things, which looks like a real...
Oh, sorry. What, this one?
No, not Rommel. There's another one. The track thing.
Hold on. Oh, the weird thing. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? I had an idea for that when you show
that
it?
One.
There
you go.
That's an extreme camper van.
Well, yeah, you could do. Be very extreme. To be honest, the amount of mud we got around here at the moment, it'll be quite apt, really. It can probably float and do everything. Yeah, it needs to be an otter. They're the only thing that are good round here at the moment.
yeah. Needs to build a dam. Stop.
Yeah, that's it.
But
to be honest, I've never
seen
one of these before. I'm
the same. I think apparently it took over from the Weasel after track Weasel that we used to have in World War II. But I know nothing about it. And again, it's different, isn't it? It's definitely something you don't see every day. That, especially with a mouth on it and teeth and looking a bit mean.
Yeah. So now they're doing the Tut Tut and all things like this, and I noticed they've got the little map on the side.
Yes.
The sort of North
This is the NAM series.
One. Is this the NAM series now? Is it they're working through?
Is. Yeah, they're doing the NAM series, I think. I do like the box art from Gecko. Where they put the flags behind of whoever it is, and it's quite striking box art Gecko. So
yes,
and again, I've got obviously my set of figures here, which has got the flag and everything. So you definitely know where they come from.
Yes, definitely. And I think that is about it. Oh, we had some update on weapons, didn't we? On the
The
forthcoming.
LRDG stuff, yeah.
No, the A4
Oh,
for the
right, yeah.
Skyhawk.
On Magic Factory.
But they've put up to Magic Factory, who've done some of the actual weapons that are coming up with it. I thought when I first saw these going to be slide molded, but they're not. So again, you've got the retarded Snake Eyes, the normal sort of Mark 82s. You've got the Zuni rockets as well, available on this particular kit. We've got the drop tanks. So obviously some of the weapons load out. I don't think it's that far off. I'm hoping they're going to send me one because I do like them and they like me. So I'm hoping we are going to be able to get a review sample off of them, which I can have a bit of a peruse at, hopefully a little bit before they become readily available, so we have a good look at them. But yeah, no, definitely very, very nice indeed. So that one's coming down the line. Very nice.
Yeah.
Again, because they're doing things like that, I'm wondering if it's not that far off now that we can see those types of things. So, yes.
Stuff happening though, isn't there? Like I say, I'm fingers crossed for next week. We might see a Marauder. Or is that, no, actually, that's fingered for April now, isn't it? It's been pushed back again for April.
Back. Yeah, yeah.
So beginning of, I think. Hopefully not the end of, but yeah, it seems to be getting moved and moved. Hopefully we will see it at some point.
I keep getting excited because I see it coming up and they're put, coming soon, and you're thinking, has it been released? And no, it's not quite there yet. But hopefully it won't be that.
I've remembered something we've not mentioned. The Undercopter thing from Meng.
Oh, right. Yeah, hold on. So shall I try and get a photo of that?
Yes. I thought I sent you one.
You did, but I don't know if I can show it on screen because it might have other information. Last time I did that, somebody
It's got no price on it.
Oh, is it not? All right, I'll show that. Where are we? Here it is. Can I make it bigger? I need to make that bigger, ideally. Can't make it bigger. Hold on. Let me...
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves just for a second, Pete. So I'll just download the file. And then I'll go right into the file. And then hopefully...
This will be seamlessly cut in when you watch
Seamlessly cut in. There we go. It's all right. I've got the big... Well, Hold on. Still didn't show that. Hold on 1 second. Let's go that and that. There it is.
There we go. So this is that 1/72nd scale one.
A real scale.
Tiddler that they're bringing out.
Yes.
Let's be honest. Which is the size of an insect.
Yes, it is. That's the problem.
Yeah. I think they've obviously seen the feedback of... there it is.
There it is. That's what we want.
There we go. Legendary series, this, apparently.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't get me wrong. I thought when I first saw the other one... Well, to be honest, when I first saw the other ones, I thought they were 1/72nd scale.
I did.
So imagine my disappointment when I found out it's as big as your thumb. So I was like, brilliant, that's great, but it's way too small. So luckily for us, Meng's gone with the 72nd version, which is, to be honest, the good one, I think. Do we have a price on these yet, Matt?
No, there's no price, there's nothing. It's just literally we've been sent a little bit of information through that. Obviously, they are doing it.
Yeah.
Again, as soon as we get some info, it'll go up as a pre-order for us anyway. But I think obviously they must have listened to people whinging about the others being too small. So I do wonder then if they're going to actually upscale the rest. I don't think they'll be able to do the thingy very big, will they?
No, not the crawler thing. The big thing.
The harvester in it.
Yeah, the harvester. Yeah.
Obviously articulated.
I was going to say, so you are fully articulated, as you can see down in here as well. So it will be posable, which is quite nice. And all the rest of it. We've got crew.
We've got a little few figures, look.
Which is nice as well. What else we got? There we go.
There you go. Is it something you'd be interested in?
It would actually, yes, definitely. To be honest, I'm not a massive fan of the film. It's a bit slow for me.
Yeah, I'm saying...
My retention span of a goldfish. Just call me Dory. But yeah, I must admit, the actual equipment and the various bits of it, I do like sci-fi in it. I like an edit sci-fi and things. And but yeah, as I say, I would probably give a go at one of these. I think it's just a cool thing. It's one of those things. It's sort of following nature, isn't it? Being like a dragonfly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's an insect, isn't it?
There you go. Give you an idea of scale between both scales of them. They did.
Yeah.
Why bother? And that's a cool scheme. That's a cool bit. So yeah, definitely. I must admit, I probably will. I'll definitely get one in for a review anyway. But I can see myself doing that as a build because I think it just looks really cool. So
there you go.
Very, very nice
Lots,
indeed. So
lots going off, which is good for the hobby, isn't it? Keeps it vibrant, keeps it, interesting.
yes, definitely.
I'll make it continue.
Definitely. Do we just want to mention PM obviously doesn't have a specials area?
Not at
Or
the
a
minute.
discount,
We just
or
hold it back
anything.
because we've got stuff happening in next weekend, isn't it?
Yes.
It is, yes. I'm trying to work out my dates here, but it's next weekend.
Yeah, not this weekend coming. It's next weekend.
Yes.
Obviously, don't forget, people, we got a bit of a special coming on here, so we will. So at the moment, we've pulled discounts and stuff. You still got the damage box area. If you fancy anything in here, it's discounted.
Oh,
these are my
reviews.
X reviews ones that I've done down in here and some damage box stuff. But even they're a little bit thin on the ground these days.
Yeah.
So if you do want to grab any of those, you can save yourself a good chunk of cash on those.
But what I do want to mention is if you could go to the filler section.
Where's filler?
Primers. No. Where is it? Glues and fillers. There we go. There we go. Tamiya Putty.
Which we haven't seen for a while.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? We've got Tamiya Basic in and the white putty as well. So, yes.
Very
Not got
nice.
massive amounts, but hopefully it might be a regular thing. We'll see. So, if you do like your Tamiya grey putty, then yes, we have got some in stock.
And again, don't forget, we've got your milliputs as well if you want something a little bit strong.
Yep.
For doing the bigger jobs, we've got some of that. We've got SMS thin cement now,
Yes,
which is pretty much like everybody else's.
probably.
They're all at the same factory. I don't know that. I'm just guessing down in there as well. But anyway, we have got your glues and your bits and pieces all in there now.
Glues here.
Covered for glues. Literally, we've got them all down
And
in there. And
fillers.
if you like, and fillers. So if you like your other putties as well, like your misters and stuff like that, and your AK stuff, we've got those ones. We've even got your Plasto, which to be honest, I still think is great.
I
Great
think
for doing
Plasto's
texturing.
really good. That
If you want to
was
do
my
texturing, it's
go-to.
great.
When you couldn't get the Tamiya putty,
Yes, yeah.
that was the alternative. And then Squadron, because we had Squadron for a bit, didn't we? Came back.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
that went, because they changed it from green to grey, didn't they? And I quite like, because it's a solvent-based one and not a water-based one. So you thin it with acetone or leveling thinners or some sort of, cellulose thinners. And it makes a really, really nice putty. But it's put with, acetone, really. If you thin it with acetone, it makes a really nice liquid putty, especially if you're texturing tanks and...
Yeah. I must admit, I used to use it all the time for texturing, especially on bombs. Yeah, because you just thin it, and as it, it starts to dry out a bit. Just
you just stipple it, don't you?
Yeah,
You
just
go for
stipple it,
figures.
yeah.
I was using it for gap filling figures because obviously you could put it down and then just run it in, and it would just, fill it really nice. So yes, don't discount the solvent-based fillers; they're all right.
No. I must admit, solvent-based fillers. Again, there's a little tip for you for doing resin stuff. Solvent-based fillers. Because if you've got gaps, it will just track in there. Like you say, you water it down a little bit, and then as it dries, you can stipple it in and do things and smooth it as well if you wanted to. And it's there then. It ain't moving anywhere.
Nope.
So, that's the nice things to it. It's one and done.
Yeah.
So, yes, good job. Right,
Cool.
I think we're done then for today. That's pretty good. So thank you very much for joining us for today. As you say, plenty of new things going on and coming through. As soon as we get any more details on dates and stuff, you guys will be the first to know as well. And as I say, I've got a review coming up for this week. I have got that Chinook, so I'll get that one done with you tomorrow. That'll be up with you tomorrow. And then obviously I've got various stuff. So hopefully part 3 of the actual this guy, which will be in primer by then and hopefully all completed and done. That'll be up with you on Friday or Monday, whichever way I do it. And then obviously part 1 of the Apache will either be up on Friday or Monday, depending which way round I do it as well. So we've got those all coming up for you. I'll be back with you tomorrow for a vlog we've got for you, and then we've got a just making sure we've got a members show on Thursday. Isn't it this week? No, that's the next week because then we're live. That's it. Yes. So we've got another vlog with me on Tuesday, on Thursday. I'll be back with you Friday. I'm getting my weeks all mixed up and stuff like that. We've got Corinne coming on with me on Friday as well because she's going off to the German show. So she'll be talking about that one, flying the flag, obviously for Display and for Flory Models as well. So she'll be on with us on Friday. And then obviously next week, normal week all the way through. But don't forget, we've got some big specials coming up with you. So we're going to do a special live show on Friday night at 7:30, where I'm going to be starting on this little gem. Oh, as part of our little weekend bill for Easter, and then we're going to be live with you on Saturday morning and Sunday morning as well through Easter. So if you've got that to do on Easter apart from eat chocolate, you can join us and put a kit together as well.
Exactly.
Same time as that, we're going to have some special sales and deals and that with PM as well. So if you want to join along with those ones, grab yourself a bargain, keep an eye out for all of those as well. But that's not this weekend, next weekend.
Yeah.
As in Easter weekend, everyone. Cool. Right. We will leave it right there. So thank you very much for joining us. We will see you all again very soon. Say goodbye back. We're out of here.
Bye.
Bye.